Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As you are settling in, we're just going to wait a few minutes till we get more people into the webinar, and then we'll start the session. It is being recorded, so you'll have access to it to review it at a later time. Thanks, Donna. I'm also letting in the advisors as we wait. Hi, Myra. So we'll wait about 1 more minute and then get started. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started now. To be mindful of time and to make sure that we give everyone an opportunity to have uh, question and answer session towards the end. So we have here with us today a few of the members in CHAS, and also, of course, our inaugural Black Student Success Coordinator, Victor, and I'll give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves quickly, and then we'll turn it over to Victor to start the session. So again, so excited to have you here. Welcome, everyone. My name is Susie Sharweed. I am the Director of Academic Advising and Enrollment Management in the College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. So excited to work with you. We will have several opportunities, whether it's through academic advising, at orientation, and then of course through our service and collaboration with African student programs and with Victor. So I would like to turn it over. Myra, if you would like to introduce yourself quickly.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you. My name is Myra Mercado, and I'm one of the academic advisors in CHAS. I advise in the economics department, so I might be seeing some of you at orientation coming up. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, Myra. Donna?
Hi, everyone. My name is Donna Prez. I'm also an academic advisor here in CHAS, and I advise for political science. So really excited to have you all on campus with us.
Excellent. And Danielle?
Hi, my name is Danielle, and I'm one of the CHAS academic advisors.
Thank you, Danielle. And then, of course, I will turn it over to Victor, who will introduce himself and then get started with the presentation.
Perfect. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Myra, Donna, and Danielle. So for the people in the audience, hello. Maybe some of y'all met me before. If not, you're gonna meet me today and a couple of more times in the next couple of weeks. So yes, as Susie said, my name is Victor. I am our campus's Black Student Success Coordinator, and I'm gonna talk about what I do as well as the rest of the pro staff for African student programs. So I'm going to share my screen and share. Okay, perfect. Can everybody see my screen? Perfect. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be talking about what exactly African student programs is. This is the first time we're doing this, and I'm excited about doing this because we still have students that have been on campus 2, 3, 4 years and don't truly understand who we are and what we do. And when they find out, they're literally in shock because they didn't know that they had something like this on campus, right? Some of you might already know. Kudos to you. Some may not know, or some might be on the fence. So I'm glad you're here because you're going to get formally introduced to what ASP actually is, African Student Programs. So let's hop right into it. So what is African Student Programs? We are a Black resource center, right? We are a Black resource center, like a physical location on campus. And we offer different types of support, directly or indirectly, that connects you with different programs on campus, different opportunities like internships or studying abroad, different campus resources like the health center, counseling and psychological services, different types of support. We connect you with faculty, staff. We're even now connecting students to graduate students, as well as your peers, and different professionals on and off campus, right? So that's what we do. We are a complete freestanding resource center. We're also a gateway into UCR's various student organizations, Black student organizations. So we have about 18 of them. And as ASP, we support them, right? And so we also do a great job of connecting you to all of the different campus organizations that we have that are ran and created by Black scholars like yourself, right? And I want to make this point. That's why I put it in bold. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to sign up to take part in ASP. So the name can kind of be misleading. People think African student programs, oh, I have to sign up for something. You don't have to sign up for anything, right? In order for you to come into ASP, in order for you to utilize what we have to offer, you just have to walk in. That's it. Yes, we have different programs and opportunities, but that's not the same as being able to simply walk into ASP and take advantage of what we have, right? So again, we are a resource center. Oops. We care about you holistically, right? So what that means is if you come in and tell me you got an A in a class, but I see that, you're having issues with your friends, or, maybe you've been kind of down and you don't seem like your normal self, we care about that just as much. So we truly do care about you as far as you as a whole person, right? And when we break down what holistic means for us at ASP, we're talking about academically, we're talking about professionally, right? And I'll talk about the academic part because literally you're kind of looking at it right now, but professionally, you're going to graduate from UCR. We already know that, right? But it's about what you're going to do professionally. We care about that just as much. We care about you socially. We want to make sure that you're building friendship groups that are going to last. Like I'll touch on my story in a bit, but I'm an alum of UCR, right? I'm not going to tell you when I graduated, but just know that I graduated in the 2000s in the single digits. I'll leave it like that. But socially, I would say 99.9% of my friends that I have now I met at UCR. I have friends that have met their husbands, they've met their wives from UCR, and they've literally met at orientation, right? So we care about you socially. We care about your self-identity development, right? So you're going to learn about, your history. You're going to learn about, right, what's taking place currently, right? And how that kind of shapes your experience, not just as a student, right, but as somebody who's in America, right? Where we're literally coming up on an election, right? And that's going to be crazy, right? And so there's so much that are going to talk about as far as who you are as a Black scholar. And lastly, we care about your mental health and your wellness, right? That's just as important to us. Again, if you come in and we see that you're not well, that's great that you got an A in that class, but hey, at what cost? Right? Or if we see that, hey, you've been missing or you haven't been your normal self personality wise, we're going to talk about that. So that's what we mean as far as caring about you holistically. So where is ASP? Where are we physically located? So this is a simple one. We're located in Costo Hall, right? And so we are smack dab between the hub and the student services building, pretty much where financial aid is. So if you know where the financial aid office is, if you know where the hub is, then literally you know where ASP is. Like we are sandwiched right between those two buildings. And yes, we are open during the summer, by the way. We're open 9 to 5. During the regular academic year, we're open from 9 to 6, right? But that's where we are, right? Again, if you know where the hub is, anybody, if y'all been to campus, you probably went to the hub. So if you know where the hub is, you know where ASP is. You probably went to financial aid, or you probably will be going sometime in the future. If you can find a financial aid office, you can find African student programs. So what's inside ASP when you walk inside? All right, cool. So we have a lobby, right? That's where most of the action takes place. In our lobby, we have tables, we have chairs, we have a TV, we have a microwave. When we have events, we have it in the lobby. So we have a main lobby. We have a computer lab with printing. Yeah, the printer kind of acts up from time to time, but we do have pre-printing in our computer lab. We have a conference room. So if students kind of want a little bit more privacy, or maybe they have a meeting, they can do it in our conference room. Throughout the day, we'll have snacks available at different points. We have blue books and Scantrons. So when you have finals and midterms and you're going to need a blue book, or you're going to need a Scantron for your test or your midterm, you can get that in ASP. We have a microwave, right? So if you want to, heat up your lunch, you can do that. We also have a TV and we have video games. So after 3 o'clock, we do allow the scholars to play. I will say Mario Kart is probably the game of choice for most of the scholars. So we have that available to you as well. So that's what's physically inside, right? When you walk into ASP. So what takes place at ASP, right? What are some of the stuff that you guys do, or what might you see at any point in time when you come into ASP? So you'll see socializing, people meeting and greeting each other, right? Which is what I love. And although we're a Black resource center, a lot of folks who aren't Black come into the space and hang out too. Bring your friends. We could laugh. We can have lunch. We could talk about life. We could talk about football. We could talk about your favorite anime. Like there's a lot of socializing. Sometimes we'll have faculty and staff randomly come just to say hi, say hello. We'll have different campus visitors that want to talk to students. Hey, you're a student here. I'm thinking about coming to UCR, or my daughter's thinking about coming. Can I talk to you for a couple of minutes? So there's a lot of socializing that takes place. Also a place to relax, right? Maybe you just need to take a quick nap, or maybe you just kind of want to be in your own zone. You could do that, at ASP as well. Accountability, right? We have different conversations about, hey, what needs to be fixed in the community, or what's going on, right? Certain groups, or, not respecting each other or whatnot, but we'll have real conversations about what's going on in the community, right? Hey, the freshmen aren't feeling welcome by this group or whatnot. Like, we'll have real conversations. You'll see studying and tutoring, right? So so during the regular academic year, from when we open at 9 a.m. to 12, so lunchtime, it's library hours, quiet hours, right? So everybody's studying, getting ready for class. We have tutoring. So we have a great relationship with the Academic Resource Center. So we have writing tutors that come in certain times of the week. We have math and science tutors that come in at certain days of the week as well. We'll do different presentations. We'll do different workshops and activities in ASP as well. It's not a huge space. So sometimes we'll do a lot of programming in the hub or other locations, but on occasion, we'll do programming in ASP as well, right? Or other groups will do presentations in our space too, because people can reserve ASP, right? So at any point in time, you might pop in and there might be a guest speaker that's giving a presentation, for example. A lot of our Black student orgs have meetings and programs in ASP as well. So folks can reserve our lobby. Folks can reserve our conference room. We do close at 6, but you can reserve it after 6. So a lot of our student orgs, for example, they'll have their general meetings in ASP at 6:30, right? We'll allow for them to enter the space, even though we're closed as far as the pro staff, right? So you're going to see a lot of clubs do business out of ASP. And then also, this is where you're going to go when you need to meet with me or any of the other pro staff one-on-one lines or in a small group, right? So if we have to talk about some sort of personal issue or some sort of matter, right? Our offices are inside of ASP, right? So that's where you're going to come. So if you want to come see me, for example, because there's something that you're dealing with academically, you're going to come physically into ASP because that's where my office is. Or if you need to talk to any of the other pro staff who I'm going to introduce in a couple of minutes, you're going to come to ASP and you'll be able to meet with us in our offices, right? So that's where we're located as well. So as far as the pro staff, I'm going to start off with Dr. J, as we call him, but Dr. Jamal Myrick. So Dr. J is the director, excuse me, of ASP. And some of you probably already know him. You've probably already got an email from him. You may have met him during Highlander Day, or maybe even at Discovery Day, but he is our fearless director. And what I love about Dr. J, and we've known each other for over a decade, is that he is in there with you, right? So although he's a director, and I can say the same thing about Susie as well, what I love about leadership on our campus is they're there with you. So you will see Dr. J every day. He's going to know your name, right? He's going to laugh with you. He's going to joke with you. He's going to hold you accountable when you need to be held accountable. We have our assistant director, Mrs. Aria Thomas, or Miss Aria, she likes to be called. I don't even know how to describe her. She's the one that keeps everybody in line, right? She's the one that organizes our calendar. She's the one that makes sure that the space isn't looking crazy. Hey, clean up after yourself, right? Don't leave your trash on the table. She's the one that coordinates a lot of our different events. We do a lot of campus visits where we go out to the community and visit. We have a lot of folks who want to come visit us. She handles all of that. And just overall, she's like the spirit of ASP, right? She's that sort of motherly figure that makes ASP feel like a home, right? So definitely love Miss Ari. Then we have Cherie Hughes. So Cherie is our program coordinator. So when you guys get to campus, you will see that there's just so many programs, events, activities going on. And they're offered by different groups. So as far as ASP is concerned, we also offer our own programming, right? That's not the same as like a student org. So our student orgs, they'll do their own thing, but we too also offer our own programming. And so our program coordinator, she's the one that handles all of that on the front end. So what you guys see, and on the back end. So that's Cherie. And again, her office is also an ASP. Then we have Stephanie. Stephanie is our admin assistant, but she's the money person. So she does a lot of the behind the scenes work. You will see her because her office is also an ASP. But more than likely, you're not going to have too much interactions with her unless you're part of a student org. And let's say you're ordering food or you're ordering materials for an event. That's when you'll probably work with her. But outside of seeing her come in, saying hi, hello, right? You're not going to have too much interaction with her on a day-to-day basis. And of course, I have to save myself for last. So then there's me, Victor Moreira, our inaugural Black Student Success Coordinator. I mentioned before, I'm also a UCR alum. I hold UCR near and dear to my heart because I wouldn't be where I'm at without UCR. My family, my community, they did a great job in raising me, but I can't deny the impact that UCR has had on my experience. And I'll talk about that in time, right? When y'all get to know me, you'll know my story, right? I'm a local product. I'm from Southern California. I grew up in Rancho Cucamonga, if y'all know where that is. And again, but I've been on campus for 11 plus years now. So before my current position, I was an academic advisor here on campus. So I'm definitely proud to say that as well. And again, my office is also in ASP. So when y'all want to meet with me for good, something bad, something in between, doesn't matter to me. You're going to physically come into ASP to see me. And if you can't come in, we could always meet via Zoom. But I personally prefer that we meet in person. So just kind of make a mental note of that. So I kind of want to talk about what I do. Because my title is kind of vague. And so I know that. So I want to take some time to properly talk about what I do. So that you guys understand the great resource that you have at your disposal. So my position, as Susie said, is brand new to UCR. And in a lot of ways, it's brand new to the UC system, right? So it makes what we're doing at UCR very special and unique. So as far as what I do, I offer complimentary and supplementary academic advising. So you still have your assigned academic advisor. Who knows? They might be on this Zoom call right now, right? I work closely with them, right? So when we have an issue, it's a we thing. So how are we going to solve it? And so we work as a team, right? We just attack it from different angles. So I work very closely with them. Whether it be through email, whether it be through phone call, but I work very closely. So in other words, there is no excuse, right? As y'all like to say, I'm gonna keep it 100, or that's what we like to say, I guess, in my generation. There's no excuse. Oh, I didn't know who to talk to, who to reach out to. We are officially robbing you of that excuse, right? Because we work as a team. What we also do is academic advising in ASP. So CHAS, which is the college that you're part of, they are pioneering how advising is done. And so their model is come to us and we're going to come to you as well. So throughout the quarter, you will see CHAS advisors in ASP, right? Where you can get academic advising, because the goal is to make sure that you know that they're part of your system of support, right? So when you tell your parents, hey, who's supporting you at UCR? You're going to say ASP. You're going to say CHAS advising, right? Because we're there, right? And not only is Chas pioneering this, the other colleges are trying to do the same as well, right? But again, Chas is at the forefront. And for the record, I used to work for Chas, so I have a deep connection and deep ties to Chas. But um, you'll have that opportunity, and we're growing it too. This is just almost like the tip of the iceberg as far as how we're really trying to make sure that you're supported academically on your journey. As far as what I do specifically, to be honest with you, it's a lot of navigation, right? No one can tell you what to do. Technically speaking, legally, you are all adults. So we can't tell you what to do, but we can help you navigate and problem solve, right? So when you think about your own academic journey, even up to this point, you run into issues that affect you academically, even if it's not an academic issue. So for example, I'm having issues with my family, or I'm having issues with a boyfriend or something that's non-academic in nature, but yet it still affects you academically. It's my job to help you navigate through all of that, right? So whether it's an academic issue, I don't think I'm in the right major, or I don't know how to deal with my home life, we have to navigate all of that, right? We don't have time to be in our feelings. We don't have time to have self-pity and self-doubt. We're a quarter-based school, right? We know we have to stay on top of it. And that's pretty much what I do, right? I help you navigate UCR, all of the policies, all of the people that you need to know. That's what I do. And I have my community hours. So my community hours is how folks meet with me. Every day I have community hours, and that's where folks can come meet with me. It doesn't matter what you want to talk about, right? It could be good news, it could be bad news. It doesn't matter to me, right? It's a safe zone. Everything's completely confidential, very similar to like having a lawyer. Your parents can't call and ask for information, right? So I do all of that through my community hours. And my community hours, I update them every week, and you'll know when I'm available. But that's when folks can kind of come engage, right? There's no time limit. You can see me as much as you want to. If there's an emergency, you can get me. So my personal guarantee to you all is that if you need me, you get me same day or next day, barring holidays, barring weekends, right? If you need me, you get me same day or next day. And in most cases, I'm literally waiting on you versus you waiting on me, right? And you can ask other scholars, they'll tell you that, yeah, Victor wasn't lying when he said that. But my community hours is how you engage with me. So I want to mention our 828 summer bridge program. You might have already heard of it because it's connected to the Highlander Early Start Academy, which is the HESA program. So if you are eligible for HESA, Highlander Early Start, you're also eligible for our 828 summer bridge program. Let me say that one more time. If you're eligible for the HESA program and you decide to do the HESA program, you can also do our 828 summer bridge program because we have a partnership collaboration with them, right? So what is the 828 summer bridge program? So it is pretty much an enrichment program that you do alongside HESA, right? And so each week on Tuesdays, so after you're done with class, we do some type of enrichment programming, right? That's going to pertain to community building, giving you different tips and advice that's going to help you do well academically. You get to meet your peers, as well as continuing students that are still around during the summer. And it's just it's just a great entry point into the Black experience at UCR, right? You kind of get pulled in, you kind of get tapped in. You're making friends, you're learning your way around campus and who is who, right? As I mentioned before, we do weekly workshops on Tuesdays and there will be food, right? So you can come hungry, that's perfectly fine. And then during the program, because the program is about 7 weeks, you'll also do check-ins with me, right? So that we can make sure that you're doing well academically, and that, you know, we're off to the right start. And lastly, on key Saturdays in the program, we're going to take you on a field trip. We're going to take you on an excursion. I'm not going to tell you where yet because that's a secret. But let's just say we went somewhere really, 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 really fun last year, but I don't want to tell you where we went. But what we do is we visit different locations of significance in Southern California that pertain to the Black experience. So, for example, last year we went to Bruce Beach, which was a beach that a portion of the Southern California coastline that was owned by a Black family that was taken from them. So millions of dollars worth of land that they got back, right? So we actually visited the beach. We went to the Biddy Mason Memorial. Most folks don't know who she is, but she's one of the founders of Los Angeles, right? For those who are from Los Angeles and for those who don't know, like she was a critical part to the founding of Los Angeles, right? One of the top 10 most well-known places on earth, right? But most people don't know how critical she was. So we visit her museum or her memorial to learn more about what she's done. We visit a couple of museums. So there's a lot of stuff that we do on those Saturday excursions, and they will be on Saturday. If you are interested in joining, you can scan the QR code or take a picture of this. I'll have Susie send out the links as well, right? But again, if you want to do our 8-to-8 summer bridge program, you have to be eligible to do the HESA program. So you're going to have to sign up for the HESA program and determine if you're eligible. And if you are, you're then eligible to do our program, right? So again, you can scan that QR code to save for later. But again, I'm gonna have Susie send this information to you when we're done. Up next, I want to talk about our Sankofa mentorship program. And so I oversee this program, by the way. So this is one of the programs that I oversee. So the Sankofa mentorship program, it's a year-long program, right? That's geared towards our unique realities. And I say realities plural because although we all identify in some shape or form, we still have unique realities. And so this program is designed to recognize that, right? It's one of two as far as Black mentorship programs on campus, but it's by far the largest. The program is open to you all. So it's open to first-year freshmen and also transfer students. And for this year, we're also going to even open it up to students that came in as freshmen that are now going into their second year. Because we had told them, sign up for the program. They thought they're too cool for school. And now they realize that they want a mentor, right? So this is an amazing program. Because like I said, it's geared towards your reality. And it's amazing because of the peer mentors. Our peer mentors are hand selected and we pay them well, right? So that we get their best work. And so if you sign up for the program, you will get assigned a peer mentor. And your peer mentor will either be a junior or a senior, maybe a sophomore, but most of them will be juniors and seniors who know their way around campus, right? Who can look out for you, who can give you advice. They can help navigate you in the right direction. And what they're going to do is they're going to meet with you each week for about 30 to 40 minutes. right? Each week, 30 to 40 minutes, they're going to meet with you in person, just kind of talk about how things are going, right? So you know that there's at least one person on campus that is going to ask you, how are you doing, once per week, right? And that's a huge deal, because UCR is a big place, right? And sometimes we can kind of get lost in our own world. But the beauty about this program is that you know for a fact you have one person that is looking out for you, right? In addition to us, obviously, but a peer, I guess that's the better word, a peer, somebody who's going through what you're going through, who's looking out for you every week. So in addition to that, we're also going to have different programs and workshops and activities that you're going to come to each quarter. And that's where you're going to meet Black faculty. That's where you're going to meet Black staff members. You're going to meet some of our Black graduate students and also community members, right? So for example, last fall, we did a workshop on imposter syndrome. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that term before, but you will. It's this idea that, hey, I got in somewhere, but why do I feel like I don't belong? Right? So it's just like, hey, I earned my way into UCR, but why do I feel like I'm not good enough? Like, that's imposter syndrome. And so we had Black faculty and staff literally talk about how they dealt with it when they were in your position, right? So those are the types of programs that we're going to do throughout the year. We haven't started actually having people apply, but if you want to sign our interest list, right? So if you're interested in joining, you can scan the QR code or take a picture of this. I'll have Susie send out this link as well, so that you can let us know that you're interested, so that when we do open up the application, we'll send it to you, because everybody's not going to get in, unfortunately, right? We're looking to have around 50 students do the program, and obviously there's more than 50 students, so everybody doesn't get in, right? That's how exclusive this program is. And we want people who are serious, right? Very serious, because we put a lot of energy into all of this, right? So if you're interested, you can scan the QR code, or copy down the link. But again, I'm gonna have Susie send this out to you when we're done, so don't worry about if you don't have it now. We have our Club 4.0 and Achiever Circle. So this is something brand new, by the way. And so we wanted to recognize our scholars that are doing well academically, right? So each quarter, we see everybody's GPA. So if you got a 4.0, you made Club 4.0 for that quarter. So it's almost like making principal's honor roll. There's honor roll, then there's principal's honor roll. So if you get a 4.0 each quarter, right, we're going to put you on our Club 4.0. If you get between a 3.9 and a 3.5, you're going to make our Achiever Circle, right? And there are different perks and rewards for being part of that club in terms of like merchandise, exclusive lunches and dinners, first dibs on certain opportunities, right? So it's really something that we're excited about, because we want to make sure that we're recognizing our scholars that are doing extremely well, right? We know it's not that easy. And so we want to make sure that we're recognizing you, and shouting you out as well, right? So I want to, before I open it up, I want to talk about how to stay tapped in with ASP. So this is super important, super important. So there are a couple of ways to stay in the loop, right? And what I mean by staying in the loop, I'm talking about staying up to date on different opportunities. A lot of stuff gets sent our way in terms of internships, in terms of scholarships, in terms of special presentations. What we do is then we then share that out with you all, right? So in addition to the resources and opportunities we offer, other folks are also offering resources, and they come to us to help spread word. So if you want to stay tapped in on what we have going on, there are several ways to do so, right? You can follow us on IG, right? And our handle is literally ASPUCR, that simple. So I encourage you to follow us on Instagram. We also have 2 newsletters that go out. So we have the general ASP newsletter, right? That's going to go out weekly, right? Not so much for the summer, but when we get to fall quarter, winter, spring quarter, the ASP newsletter goes out weekly. And that's where we put a lot of information. We're trying not to bombard you with emails. So what we've decided is we said, hey, students complained, we don't want to overwhelm them. So all of the important information that we get is in the newsletter. So when folks say, hey, Victor, do you know of any scholarships? Check the newsletter. Hey, do you know of any opportunities or internships? We're going to say, check the newsletter, because that's where we put everything. So the general ASP newsletter goes out every week, and you don't have to sign up. You're going to get it automatically. So whether you like it or not, you're going to get it. And then we have a secondary newsletter called the Black Student Success Academic Newsletter. That goes out every 2 weeks. And there's a lot of information on there, but the focus of that newsletter tends to be more academic in nature, right? And then lastly, or no, 2 more, check your email. Yes, on rare occasion, I will directly email you. If it's like a time-sensitive opportunity or something that's exclusive to certain majors, I like to email you directly, right? So when you see my email, don't throw it away. Actually open it, please. It's good information. And lastly, come to ASP. So we have this announcements board where we post everything. We have a calendar that has upcoming events. We have all types of flyers that are posted everywhere. So if you want to stay tapped in, actually come to ASP. We update our calendar every week. We post flyers pretty much almost every day. So that's a great way to also stay connected. So with that being said, before I open it up to any questions, comments, or concerns, our emails are on there, right? Mine is at the bottom. Again, hit us up. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger, especially with myself, right? Y'all all have my email. You've now met me. So there's no excuse as far as, well, I didn't know who to talk to. No, we're not playing that game. So what I want to do now is open it up to any questions, comments, or concerns, fears, whatever it may be that you have. And I'm sure we can answer it.
Victor, I'm gonna jump in really quickly. We did have one question come through the Q&A regarding the HESA, and you did post the QR code, which is great. I'm also gonna put in the chat for everyone the Zoom links to the HESA virtual information sessions. They have a few coming up, so anyone interested can log on to these sessions and get real-time questions answered from those running HESA, so that in case you had like logistical questions and things like that, you can access those through Zoom. And if anyone has any questions, like Victor said, please put those in the Q&A. We'll answer them either live, or one of the advisors or somebody will type our answers out. Or I think you guys can chat us as well. You can chat us directly, but it's better to put it in the Q&A.
But don't be shy. So while we wait, I'll also kind of give you guys a piece of advice. Excuse me. Use your time, use the rest of your summers wisely. Right? So what I can say is, if you need to clean up some stuff in your personal life so that you can focus on UCR, do so. And don't be afraid to let people go. Don't be afraid to grow. I think sometimes folks want to hold on to their childhood, and what happens is you don't make room for the new, right? So if there's some loose ends you need to tie up over the next couple of weeks, please do so.
I'll go ahead and add as well. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Here are some of the Chaz social media platforms that we would encourage you to follow as well, and get involved so that you can also access information via the Chaz social media platforms. So I'll stop sharing that. And we did get a question in the chat, Victor, about GPA. Is GPA a big factor in deciding who's admitted into UCR?
So if I'm reading the question correctly, is GPA a big factor deciding home? It's part of it, right? If we're talking about who gets into UCR in general, it's part of the equation, but there are other factors and variables that come into play, right? But anytime we're talking about academics, GPA will always be a part, but it's not the only part though. There are other things that are considered. For example, some folks may want to see a resume. Some folks may want to read a personal statement. Some folks might want to see, right, your volunteer record and stuff along those lines. So it's part of the equation, but it's not the only. It's rarely is it the only variable that gets looked at.
There's another question about the deadline to sign up for HESA. So I'm going to put the link to HESA here as well. It's long. I don't know how to make it smaller. Just copy it, y'all. And you can cut. It's still not too late to sign up. They still have sessions through July 19th. So I know that you have until July 19th at the minimum. But yeah, there's more information at that link.
If you can do it, do it. When I started at UCR, they didn't have HESA, but they had something similar to HESA that I did, and it gave me a huge advantage.
So while we're waiting for other questions, the advisors here and also our peer advisor, Danielle, if you can kind of think of like one good piece of advice you would give students coming into Chaz, it's the $1 million question, right? But just kind of consider, and then I'll open up the floor for you guys to kind of give them that piece of advice. While you guys are thinking that through, I see here a question: how would I find who my academic advisor is? Do either of you want to answer that, Donna or Myra?
Yeah, so we have our CHAS Academic Affairs website, which I can try and post a link in the chat. And that will show you all the majors that we have and who the advisors are for each major. And you're assigned an advisor based on your last name. And also, if you start checking your RMail around this time, you may actually have some advisors sending you information directly. So check your RMail because you may actually be getting an email from your advisor directly as well. But I think Susie just posted in the chat that Student Academic Affairs website. Thanks, Susie. And that's where you'll find who your academic advisor is.
Thank you, Donna. And Victor, there is a question for the Sankofa mentorship program. How are mentees selected?
So, good question. When we open up the actual application, we're gonna have some questions that we're gonna look at, and kind of make our decision based upon that. But really, it's about desire, right? Because what's happened in the past is we've had students sign up, but they weren't really committed, and so it took somebody else's spot who was interested in doing the program, right? So we're gonna have a couple of questions on there, and we're gonna go from there, right? But we're not gonna be too crazy as far as what we're looking for. We just want students who are passionate and who are motivated. So the questions that we're going to ask on the application are going to deal with just kind of motivation, right? We want students who are passionate, students who really want to do well. So good question.
Great question. Okay, so Myra, if you wanted to give us your feedback and advice on
Definitely,
coming into
thank you.
CR.
Yes, I think, especially the first quarter goes by really fast. It's like a 10-week quarter. So I always like recommend like, don't feel like you need to get involved like in so many things right away. It's okay to take your time to, you know, get to know who you can go to because, UCR is a big place, but like everyone's really helpful, there's no such thing as a bad question. So like, especially your first year, like you don't expect, need to know like where to go for everything, right? So it's okay if you reach out to your advisor or Victor or like, your peer mentor down the road. It's, just take your time to get, adjusted to the pace, I feel, the first quarter, and then it'll get better after.
Thank you, Myra. Yes, that's always a huge contention is trying to manage that adjustment in time, going from a semester setup in the high school or at the community college and then transitioning to the quarter system sometimes is one of the biggest hurdles. So thank you for sharing that. Danielle, I would like to get the student perspective if you could share.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about when I was like a first year. It was definitely really daunting going from like high school to college because no one really like prepares you for that. But I feel like UCR, one of the highlights is that there's always a department or someone there to help you out, or at least like will help you reach to the appropriate like resource that you need. But I guess like one piece of advice I would give my younger self is to go outside of your comfort zone. Like college is about finding yourself, finding who you truly are. And the only way to do that is to do things that you wouldn't normally do. So definitely like go outside your comfort zone, try to get out there, try new things, and don't be afraid to network as well. I know it can be like daunting to like talk with like faculty and staff, but it's a very foundational skill that you're gonna need like not only throughout your 4 years, but also like outside of your 4 years at UCR.
Thank you for that. Yes, another great bit of advice. Step outside of your comfort zone because that's where growth happens. And then Donna, if you could please give us some of your advice.
For me, I'd say just don't be afraid to ask for help. I was a first generation student. I didn't know how to do college at all, like the majority of students here at UCR, and even a lot of our staff members here were first generation too. So don't be afraid to reach out for help, whether it's like not having food or money for groceries. There's always an office on campus that can help you with that. If you don't have money to pay your bills, we have offices that will actually help you with that, believe it or not. So there is always help out there for students. You just have to come and tell somebody, right? But we're always here to help you, so don't be afraid to ask for help. I have some students who come and see me like every other week just to check in, and that's what we're here for. Everyone's here to support you and help you along your educational journey, so just don't be afraid to ask for help for whatever it may be.
Thank you, Donna. And then Victor, in the chat, there was a clarification into the initial question about the GPA. The question is the GPA required for ASP? So if you clarify that again, yeah.
No GPA. So remember, ASP is a resource center. So anybody can come into ASP and take advantage of what we have to offer. If there are specific programs, right, that are being offered, that might be a criteria. So for example, if a student wanted to take advantage of study abroad or maybe some other programs, they might ask for a GPA, but to come into ASP, to utilize the majority of our resources and our programs, GPA is not required at all.
And you had also indicated there's not even an application, right? You can just come and hang out and build community and engage.
Yeah, exactly. The name kind of is misleading because everybody here is African Student Programs, but we're really more so just a resource center. So it's easier to think of us as an actual center that you can physically walk into and engage with.
Absolutely. Excellent. All right, everyone, I'm not seeing questions coming into the Q&A, nor through chat. So like I said, at the start of this session, we are all here to be of service to you. We are all here as a resource for you. And the collaborations that we have between African student programs and the College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences is critically important to your ongoing success. You were fundamentally successful in getting to UCR, and you will continue that success by utilizing the resources that we have to offer you. So I'll turn it over to Victor so he can close us out.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to meeting y'all. If you do 828, I'm gonna see you. If not, I'm gonna see you in the fall. Be ready. You're gonna meet the rest of the crew. We're about business, but we like to have a good time as well. We have to laugh and joke around, but we get our work done as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to meeting y'all sometime soon, or at the very least, when you move in late September, or when you come to campus for your first day of class, we will be there. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.